That also is a project that has probably been at least 15 to 20 years in the making, and in part because of the brownfield challenges that are there, but also in part, some might say, the recalcitrance of the U.S. Steel property owners to be able to deal with the city and the residents of the community. That part is my little editorial piece for tonight. More comments? Yes, sir.
One question. Are you all in the Texaco property development?
No, sir, we're not. No. We are a regional plan.
Somebody will consider what they're doing with that property there too? Buying getting so close?
The Texaco property?
Yeah.
We have not been given that charge to look at anything beyond what we're looking at right now. That might be something that might be brought in at a later time. I'm not certain, but we don't have that.
Just a comment. It's taken about 10 to 12 years to show you how long it takes to clean a brown site. It's taken 10 years to clean Texaco, which was an oil refinery at one time. Businesses are just now able to go in there to build. There was that much earth was removed. It's been 10 years. It's just now getting businesses to start to come in.
This gentleman had another comment, and who else had a comment? That's all. Okay. Did you go on to this? Right here.
Let's get this guy the money.
Yeah, no,
Let's give him the money.
it's no big deal. This gentleman back here covered it. I was just going to say, I know the guy that cleaned up Texaco, and it did take him a long time, but Texaco is clean.
Okay.
It's all filled, all that stuff is filled with clay, 4 or 5 feet high.
What was the cost of this?
One last thing.
Yes.
You cannot sell a piece of property and walk away from the hazardous waste. You own, as an owner, you own hazardous waste to the grave. It is the responsibility of the owner. Even if he sold the property, the first owner is on the hook for the waste site cleanup. So you are still responsible. It will cost whoever moves in or the city of Joliet zero. Because you can't sell a hazardous waste like that.
He is no, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I do have a thought at a meeting that we had not too long ago, when we were promoting this particular meeting, and I'm sure he'll probably bring it up tomorrow. We wanted to do something to excite the youth and the kids, especially with jobs. And one gentleman brought up the idea of not so much a museum, but a theme park, an amusement park for the prison site. And we kind of sat and thought, would that work there? But 270 acres, that's a lot of acres with the combined properties.
That is quite a bit. There is, I was going to say, everyone is quite familiar with contamination at the U.S. Steel site. However, one of the things we'll probably find is some contamination at the prison site as well. I had an opportunity to tour the prison this past June, and going through there, there's been pretty significant damages, weathering that's happened from it being closed for the last 10 years. Also, if you look at the property across on the other side of the columns through there, the shooting range has been a shooting range for what, 100 years? So you can only imagine that there's tons of lead that's sitting on the side of the hill. There's ways to be cleaned up right there too. So there are going to be contamination and brownfield cleanup challenges on both sides. Not in this present site, no. No, but I would argue that if there is the will to be able to change the way that it looks and make the improvements that need to happen, anything can happen.
I'm also for, like you said, I work in education, so that's why I'm stuck in education, because I believe in it. But I also think is that, like you said, you can motivate the kids to do something to take care of their neighborhood. I've been out in Seattle, and I've been in a place where I saw where they took not the whole piece, they took a piece piece of the land and put a community garden there. So when families were homeless and laid off, granted they had to put fences around it, but when families were laid off and hungry, now the shelters give away okay food, but like they said, my son is ADHD or he has these other issues, he can't eat all these other things, and I can't afford it. So they had a community where they grew different things, and different communities took care of it, and the teenagers went in, and you know, when they grew up families, they went and took boxes of food that they've grown within themselves, and it just, they showed pictures of what it used to look like, what the children used to do, to now what they are, how the kids giving back in their environment. It just helped the whole neighborhood as a whole, a positive thing.
Go along with that, kind of like a farmer's market.
Yeah, and we also have a farmer's market here. That's the other thing. It's small, but when it starts, we can also in turn take those same fruits and vegetables that we're giving out, market some of those downtown that we have here every Friday in that farmer's market.
Yeah, they're doing that positively in Chicago, but you're looking at that land and having it.
But like you said, hey, when they
But
get
if
it
you
together,
get plenty of other land up here that's available, that we can do that on, but we're looking at the aspect of building that into a joint collab, like Amy works with down there. I work up here a little bit up there. It's always been those boundaries, Hispanic community, the Black community. It's time that we start working together as a unit. That's Collins Street. Let's be realistic, people. We know a lot of the young kids ain't gonna go on Collins Street. A lot of the Black families ain't gonna. We know a lot of Hispanic families not gonna come up on the hill. So we need to make that a one joint area where everybody's a safe haven. We need to make it something where it's culture potted, where everybody can go there and don't feel intimidated because that's an Hispanic store or that's a Black restaurant. We shouldn't have to have that. It's Black restaurants on the east side. Everybody even knows Collins Street is dominantly Hispanic. There's not nothing that's owned by white or Blacks on Collins Street. Right. It's time we stop that. It's time we stop and we do something together. I'm 43 and there's much more people in here older than me, but I was just telling the reporter, I remember when Cato's was underneath the hill. I remember Gravel Boys. I remember Kroger's, J.C. Penney's, all that. It wasn't nothing for my grandmother to go to those stores and didn't have to feel like she was a Black woman. She went there and shopped just like any other person.
well, I'm gonna say to you, I speak a little bit of Spanish, and I go where I want, when I want. I talk to who I want. I go in the store. I go in the store, and in the store where they don't have the reason, I will ask whether they speak my language, but also because I speak both languages, maybe I'm more comfortable with that because I do speak a little bit of Spanish. But I think overall, you know, like she said, we got to come together. People got to respect and recognize each other's culture, to understand where everybody comes from, and it's all about the money. We want our community to prosper as a whole, and that's why me as a parent try not to push off my beliefs or my thoughts. I be careful about what my kids hear me say and what they hear me do, because this does carry over. And our kids in their minds, it carries over. Oh, I'm going to this Mexican store. It's a store. That's my thing. It's a store. It's not about.
Get that out of a lot of families up here. I know it's taking us off the subject,
Right.
but
Well, it's good to get it out there,
Right.
because I think those are some of the
Looking
issues
at it as-
that.
I'm looking at it as a dollar and cents from my perspective. I look at a housing project. Jobs is what we need. Jobs and education. If you don't have education, you can't get a job. If you ain't got a job, you can't further your education.
You know, I got lots of calls prior to this meeting, and people who were saying that they could not be here tonight or tomorrow night, but just wanted to discuss their idea for what should happen with the sites. And I just want to throw a couple of those ideas out. Well, actually, one now. One that was brought up was the need for a community garden or for local food production. And I'd just like to get a sense from people who think that that might be a good idea.
I think you need to be educated more on what it is.
Right.
Yeah, so they know.
And it could be developed into an economic development tool for the community, but that was one idea. Another was the possibility of the prison site in particular being a possible entertainment venue that could have different concerts or different shows that might be, you know, there might be entertainers who would like to be able to perform in a unique environment such as a prison. So that was an opportunity that was presented, and an idea that I think is a little bit different, but it may have some merit. Yes, sir.
Didn't they just do that in Chicago? At the U.S. Steel?
They did do that at the U.S. Steel Center. I think that was the Dave Matthews Band that had a big performance that was at the U.S. Steel Center. Right. That is correct. Right. Yes, sir.
I'm not sure if Alfredo was with us that day, but, and I'm no longer involved with the guys that started this, but I was there at the beginning. There's a first team program here in Joliet. And I can remember a meeting across the street at the annex buildings. And a solution to the gun range was a 9-hole golf course for kids. The older kids would work at that golf course to maintain it. The kids have, because you have a lead problem. Well, you dig up what you can and then you seal it with clay, and then you build a 9-hole golf course. We did have that meeting with some city fathers and the Joliet Park District. And this is about 7, 8 years ago.
Isn't that the Wedgeworth Foundation that does the?
Well, he builds golf courses. The meeting never went that far. And this was because the prison had just been closed. And we were going to use a couple of the offices in the administration building as an office for the first team. But it didn't go that far. We moved it out to Inwood Golf Course. But that's a possibility. And I'm going to say one more thing and I'm going to shut up for the rest of the night. Anybody that has a computer, and this is a success story that everybody needs to know about. And Pete, you probably heard of this neighborhood down in Atlanta. It's called Eastlake. It was a dilapidated neighborhood. And there was a golf course that Bobby Jones used to play on back during the 20s. There was a guy that lived in that neighborhood, and he was white. He was rich. That neighborhood now is one of the most desirable places in Atlanta to live. In 4 weeks, you will see the professional golf tour play their tour championship at that golf course. And they support about 4,000 kids in a first tee program because of a guy's vision. It's called Eastlake. And it's in the heart of Atlanta. It's in the hood. And the neighborhood died, but it's back. And it's been back for about 20 years.
All right, we're going to wrap up. We've got about 10 minutes before we're officially supposed to close this meeting. I just want to catch any other comments from maybe someone who hasn't spoken yet right now. Is there anybody who's got an idea that want to put out there, their big idea for what happened, what should happen with the site?
And we'd love to hear it tonight, but you can also contact us if you think of it later. This is not your last time.
That is definitely true. This is not your last chance.
But I got a question. Y'all keep talking about the golf course. What, the golf course is an indoor golf? Because we need something all year round, not just for the summer. If you're gonna do something constructive. That golf course, that don't make no sense.
Well,
It's several things that
I would also add that given the size of the sites, you could do a golf course and something that would be indoor. You could do multiple number of uses on these sites. So it's possible to have a golf course and a lot of other things on the prison site itself and on the U.S. site too. So that I think could be one component if we decide to go there. Any other comments or questions or any other points? Yes.
I'm like the lady said, it's like a satellite park district. You know, that would really work if you use it in all aspects for everybody. It really, I think, would work good. And plus jobs are small, like you said, small factories. I know warehouses don't get a good name, but whatever gives jobs.
Right. So when you mean satellite park district facility, you're talking about something like an Inwood?
Yeah, like an Inwood.
Something that's like an Inwood that would be over here. Yes.
The 270 acres is a huge mass of land. There's an opportunity to have a golf course, an Inwood type center, just like how they have those soccer rinks on Lily Cash and Bowling Grove, and those 5 big, there's enough room to do all that recreation, plus light industrial, plus, you know, facility anchoring down a Food for Less or a major growth. There's enough room to do a lot of that stuff. We have to stop thinking of our small east side mentality, because we normally have taken just what's left over after they're done building their Inwood on the west side, and whatever trickles down over to us left, we'll take that. This is a huge opportunity. The city of Joliet and other municipalities, larger scales, are focused on these 2 sites, and we need to seize the opportunity, because that's a huge piece of land with a lot of money that would be coming in. Not just a few jobs, several jobs that could be coming in. The money, we shouldn't turn away anything. If they want to do tourists and recreation and industrial and retail, let's do it all. Let's think big. Let's think outside of these little boxes that we've normally been in for the years and years and years, and think 20 years from now, we're creating something for our kids and our grandkids and so on, for that type of thing. We need to think bigger than what we're allowing ourselves to think. Think outside that box.
Yeah, I think that, yes.
I just had one comment that with 355 being built, maybe the east side doesn't seem so isolated, because I mean, it's not really that far to the new, you know, when you go down Maple or whatever, to go to 355. So, I mean, there could be kind of a transportation corridor for whatever project. I mean, that's a whole nother avenue, literally.
And expand Route 6.
I would agree. Yeah, I think that there are transportation opportunities that might link the east side with 355 that need to be explored. That might be something that comes out of this too, but as you're looking at whatever kinds of uses happen at the steel mill or the prison site, you're going to have to look for those connections there too. Yes, sir.
Forget about the traffic that the 3rd airport may generate. Get the travelers coming through Georgia. Because it's still there, and that's the 3rd wave of 355. The property for the airport's already been bought.
Right.